Welcome back to another deep dive. Today, we are transporting you directly to Lisbon. I want you to close your eyes for a second and just picture the Estádio do Sport Lisboa e Benfica.
The cathedral.
The cathedral. It's loud, it's intimidating, it is a massive wall of red noise. I mean, usually this place is a fortress.
Oh, for sure.
But today the vibe is, well, it's different. We aren't just looking at a football match. We are looking at a collision.
And I don't mean just players crashing into each other on the pitch, though, there will be plenty of that. We were talking about a massive collision of two completely different trajectories.
Exactly. On one side of the pitch, you have Real Madrid. And looking at the sources we've pulled for this, surging feels like an understatement.
Yeah, terrifyingly efficient was one phrase I saw.
It really was. They have this attacking firepower right now that is just off the charts. It feels like they're operating on a different operating system than everyone else. And then you look at the other dugout. You have Benfica, a historic giant, absolutely two-time European champions, but a giant that is, well, currently battling some serious internal demons.
It's such a fascinating setup because usually when we prep for these big Champions League nights, the first thing we do is pull up the points table and do the math. Who needs a draw? Who needs a win?
Right.
And we have to address that elephant in the room right up front. This is the final group stage match. For Real Madrid, the motivation is crystal clear.
Yeah.
They are pushing hard for that top 8 knockout spot.
They need this result. They want to bypass the playoff round, get some rest.
Get the express lane, yeah. But then you look at Benfica, and the math is actually quite cruel.
It is brutal. After that defeat to Juventus, Benfica is done. They are mathematically eliminated from Champions League contention.
They can't go through. So the natural question for you listening right now is, why does this deep dive matter? Why are we spending our time unpacking a game where one team is essentially playing for nothing?
That is the million-dollar question. Because on paper, it looks like a dead rubber.
A meaningless friendly.
But when you dig into the reports, the tactical previews, and the local news coming out of Portugal, you realize it is so much more than that. It's about pride. It's about closing the gap on the pitch against European royalty. And honestly, it's about the managers.
It really is. That is the mission of today's deep dive. We aren't just looking at 22 guys kicking a ball. We are unpacking the tactical nuance of a very specific managerial clash. We have the emerging discipline style of Arbeloa ball, with Real Madrid going up against the classic, rugged, and right now very cornered pragmatism of Jose Mourinho.
And even though this is their first recent meeting, the storylines are so dense. We've got a stack of tactical previews, injury reports that are actually quite shocking.
Oh, we'll get to those.
We will definitely get to those because they change the whole shape of the game, plus expert predictions on form and motivation. So let's unpack this.
Let's dive in.
I want to start with the visitors. Real Madrid. If you've been looking at the headlines or even just scrolling social media, it's hard to miss what they just did to AS Monaco.
A 6-1 demolition. That wasn't just a win. That was a statement of intent.
6-1. I mean, that's barely a soccer score. That's a decent first set in tennis. That is a complete dismantling.
It tells us everything we need to know about the current state of Real Madrid under Álvaro Arbeloa. For years, the narrative around Madrid was individual brilliance, the era of the Galacticos.
Yeah, give the ball to Vinicius or Ronaldo or Benzema and just hope for some magic.
Hope they do something to bail the team out. But the sources are emphasizing a massive shift here. Under Arbeloa, it's about collective focus and discipline.
That's a key distinction. It feels like they are moving more like a machine now. That 6-1 win wasn't just 6 lucky goals. It illustrated a lethal, organized system. They aren't just winning, they are overwhelming teams with structure.
Precisely. It's a cohesive unit. But then we have to pivot 180 degrees to the other dugout. Because if Madrid is surfing a wave of momentum, Benfica is, well, they're treading water in a storm.
Turbulence is the word a few of our sources use, and I think that's putting it mildly.
It's heavy in Lisbon right now. The atmosphere is thick.
Which is strange, right? Because I was looking at their recent form, and they just had a 4-0 league win.
You'd think that would fix things.
Usually a 4-0 win fixes the vibes. Everyone goes home happy, the fans cheer, the manager smiles.
Usually, yes. But you have to look at the broader context, specifically the off-pitch unrest. The fans have been protesting, and when Benfica fans turn, they don't just boo quietly.
Yeah.
They make their presence felt in the stadium. They've been protesting poor results throughout the campaign, and one league win doesn't wash that away.
So this places immense pressure specifically on Jose Mourinho, and we all know the narrative. Mourinho thrives on conflict. He loves the us against the world mentality.
He builds his whole persona around it.
But this feels different.
It is different. Us against the world works when your own fans are the U.S., when the stadium is a fortress protecting the team. Right now, it feels like Mourinho against everyone, including his own stadium. This isn't just about qualifying. This is about expectations. Benfica expects to be in Europe. Being eliminated this early is a failure in their eyes.
So if we frame this dynamic, we have Real Madrid running on pure, unadulterated confidence.
And Benfica running on pure pressure, or, to put it in tactical terms, Arbeloa's organized chaos versus Mourinho's cornered pragmatism.
And frankly, a Mourinho team with its back against the wall is always dangerous. It's like a wounded animal, but it's also volatile. It could explode, or it could just implode.
Exactly. And that volatility makes it so unpredictable.
Okay, let's get into the nuts and bolts. Let's talk about the actual football. Because when you talk about Real Madrid right now, there is one name that dominates every single stat sheet we looked at. You know who I'm talking about.
Kylian Mbappé. You can't ignore him.
The man is on a tear. The sources say he has 11+ Champions League goals this season already. That is, honestly, it's absurd.
It's a video game stat line. It's Ballon d'Or level consistency. But here's the insight for you. Mbappé isn't just scoring because he's fast. He is the centerpiece that informs the entire style of play. Real Madrid's approach under Arbeloa, based on our reading, is defined by high pressing and high tempo.
Right. They aren't looking to hold the ball for 5 minutes and bore you to death with possession stats.
They want to break lines quickly. They want to maximize the spaces behind the defense. When you have Mbappé, you don't need 20 intricate passes to score. You need one vertical pass into space, and he's gone.
It's lethal efficiency.
It forces the opponent to never blink, because the moment you lose concentration, the ball is in the back of the net.
However, and here is where the plot thickens, it's not all sunshine and rainbows for Madrid. We have to talk about the injury list. Because when I looked at the source material, my jaw dropped a little bit. It's not just who is out, it's where they play.
It is a significant tactical headache for Arbeloa. It creates a real structural problem.
So let's list them. Defender Antonio Rüdiger is out. Ferland Mendy is out. And crucially, Trent Alexander-Arnold is out.
That is 3 of your starting back 4 in many scenarios.
Yeah.
That is a massive chunk of quality missing. It's the foundation of the team.
It is. Now, they do have Tchouaméni returning from suspension, which is a massive boost for the midfield.
Huge.
But I want to drill down on the Alexander-Arnold and Mendy absence. Because for the listener who maybe doesn't watch Madrid every week, why is losing Trent specifically such a game changer? Isn't he just a right back?
That's the misconception. In modern football, and specifically in this Madrid system, Trent Alexander-Arnold isn't just a defender. He is the primary playmaker.
The creative hub.
He is. He provides the width, sure, but he also provides those diagonal balls that switch the play instantly. He sees passes that midfielders don't even see.
He's basically a quarterback playing on the sideline.
Exactly. Without him, and without Mendy's athleticism on the other side, Madrid changes shape. The expert analysis suggests this might force Madrid to rely even more on midfield link-ups.
So they have to go through the middle.
They have to be more intricate centrally. They can't just spray the ball out wide to Trent and let him do his thing. Which, to be fair, with players like Jude Bellingham or Fede Valverde, they can absolutely do it.
They have the talent.
They have the talent, but it makes them tactically different. Maybe a bit more predictable in terms of where the attack is coming from.
So Madrid is a Ferrari, but they've got different tires on than usual. The engine of Mbappé is running perfectly, but the steering might feel a little different.
That's a great analogy. They still have the horsepower, but the handling is going to be different.
Now let's flip the field. What is the plan for Benfica? Because we know Mourinho. We think we know what he's going to do. What does the Mourinho blueprint look like in 2026?
The sources are quite clear on this. Expect a rigid defensive block.
So are we talking park the bus, the classic Mourinho wall?
Well, let's use the polite term. Tactical compactness. But yes, essentially. The strategy is going to be to frustrate Madrid. Mourinho is a pragmatist. He knows he can't go toe-to-toe with Arbeloa's team in an open running race.
No, if he opens the game up, Mbappé will destroy them.
He knows that. So he has to make it ugly. He has to drag them into the mud. He has to condense the space between his defenders and his midfielders. The expectation is he will sit deep and look for transitions and counters. Basically, wait for Madrid to make a mistake, maybe a loose pass in that narrow midfield we talked about, and then pounce.
But here is the variable that you can't quantify in a spreadsheet, the home factor. We mentioned the protests, but Benfica is still Benfica, and they are playing at the Estádio da Luz. That place has a history.
It does. And statistically, Benfica scores regularly at home in domestic play. They know where the goal is. The issue is consistency against top European sides.
And this connects back to the fans, doesn't it? This is the psychological aspect of the match.
It does. This is the why it matters part. The home crowd energy is a double-edged sword here. If Benfica comes out and tackles hard, maybe he gets an early corner, the crowd could lift them. It could become a cauldron.
Yeah.
But if Madrid dominates possession early, if Mbappé gets a chance in the first 5 minutes, if the game looks like men against boys,
Mood turns sour. Instantly.
that energy could turn negative, directed squarely at Mourinho and the players. It's a very fragile psychological state for a home team. They're walking a tightrope. One bad pass and the whistles start.
And playing while your own fans are whistling at you, that is incredibly training.
For sure.
So we have the setup, we have the mind games. Let's talk about the actual battles on the pitch. Where's this game going to be a won or lost?
Looking at the tactical previews, I see 3 key battlegrounds emerging.
Okay, hit me with number 1.
Battle 1, the flanks. The wings. This is where the injuries we discussed become critical. Madrid naturally desires to exploit fullback spaces. That is their DNA. But without Trent and Mendy, they are fielding backups or shifting players around who maybe aren't as comfortable there.
And Benfica knows this. Mourinho definitely knows this. He probably has that circled on his whiteboard in red ink.
Oh, absolutely. Riolo will still try to exploit overlaps. It's ingrained in their system. But if the execution is slightly off because the personnel is different, Benfica can pinch the ball there. And that's where the counterattack starts.
So watch the wings. If Madrid is sloppy there, Benfica is in business. What's battle number 2?
The engine room. Midfield transition speed. We talked about Madrid needing to play through the middle. Their quick passing needs to break lines.
So Benfica's job is to be the wrecking crew.
Yes. Purely disruptive. If Madrid can pop the ball around quickly, ping, 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 Benfica's dead. But if Benfica can turn it into a physical scrap, if they can slow it down, foul tactically, make it choppy, then they have a chance.
And the third battle.
Efficiency. This is simple math. Benfica will not get many chances. The sources highlight that they must exploit limited chances and set pieces.
Because Madrid's shape, despite the injuries, has been disciplined under Arbeloa, they aren't just giving goals away for free.
Exactly. They aren't leaking silly goals. So if Benfica gets a free kick near the box or one clean counterattack, they have to score. They cannot afford to be wasteful.
It sounds like a game of precision for Benfica versus a game of volume for Madrid.
That's a great way to put it. The margin for error for Benfica is almost zero.
So what does this all mean for the result? I know we don't have a crystal ball, but the experts usually have a consensus. What are they saying?
The consensus is leaning pretty heavily one way. Most experts slightly favor a Real Madrid win, even away from home. The quality gap is just too hard to ignore.
Are we talking a blowout like the Monaco game? Are people expecting another 6-1?
Probably not. The specific projection mentioned in our stack suggests something like Benfica 1, Real Madrid 2.
A competitive match, but Madrid just having too much class.
The professional away win, yeah.
And what about the goals? Are we expecting a goal fest?
This is where the experts are split, which I find fascinating. Many forecasts see over 2.5 goals.
Because Madrid has Mbappé and Benfica scores at home. That makes sense.
Right. The ingredients are there, but there is a counter view. Some warn it could be a tight, low-scoring contest purely because of Mourinho. If he decides he'd rather lose 1-0 than try to win and lose 4-0, he can kill the game.
There's also a statistical trend here that jumped out at me from the notes. Madrid often score first on the road.
That is a hallmark of a mentally strong team. They quiet the crowd early. It's almost a deliberate tactic. Kill the atmosphere in the first 20 minutes. Conversely, the data shows Benfica can open scoring at home, but they struggle to hold on to consistency under pressure. They get nervous.
That pressure word again, it keeps coming back to the mental side.
Right. So even if Benfica scores first, you wouldn't bet your house on them holding that lead against this Madrid side.
Especially not with the mood in the stadium being what it is. One mistake and the confidence just evaporates.
Exactly. It's fragile.
So let's wrap this up. We are looking at a high-stakes clash of contrasting styles. You have Real Madrid bringing high-tempo firepower and superior balance, orchestrated by Arbeloa.
And you have Benfica relying on home spirit, tactical rigidity, and, the dark arts of Jose Mourinho. It really is the ultimate test of system versus survival.
Yeah, Madrid is refining a system. Benfica is fighting for survival, not in the tournament, but for their pride and maybe their manager's future. And that is why you, the listener, should care.
Hmm.
Even though Benfica is technically out, the pressure on Mourinho is palpable. And the sheer quality of Madrid's attack-watching Mbappé in this form, operating within Arbeloa's machine, is worth the price of admission alone.
Absolutely. It's a case study in how teams handle expectations at opposite ends of the spectrum. One team playing with joy, the other playing with fear and grit.
I want to leave you with one final thought to mull over. We've talked about Arbeloa's side showing better collective focus and Mourinho facing protests. If Madrid comes into Mourinho's house and dismantles them with this new, modern, disciplined style, could we be watching the specific turning point where the era of the special one formally gives way to the new disciplined era of Arbeloa?
It certainly feels like a generational collide. A passing of the torch, perhaps forcibly.
Just something to think about. Thanks for diving in with us. Enjoy the match.